I said when the Seahawks beat the Broncos in week one, that was their Super Bowl. And the fact of the matter is, not only was I critically wrong there, they won the offseason by a country mile. And they also have a chance this year to go to the Super Bowl if everything continues to play out the way it has. This offense is one of the most balanced units in football. And I want to talk about this draft class they just had. It's elite. They can run the football with the very best in the NFL. And defensively, over the last 4 weeks, they've continued to get better and better. They get to the quarterback, they generate pressure, they get sacks, and the back end, along with Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant this year has been playing very well. The forced fumbles, picks, whatever it may be. If this Seattle defense can continue to play the level it has over the last month, there is no reason to say they can't win multiple playoff games this year when you look at the state of this current NFC. I have to say it, guys. Everybody was wrong about the Seattle Seahawks. No one was right. When you look at what the dialogue was this offseason, it was all about Pete Carroll's outdated system, right? He couldn't win without Russell Wilson. And John Snyder could not draft, which was true. He could not draft to save his life. After 2012, they probably drafted worse than every team in football. Literally had 6 picks hit in like 7 years. And it helped they were trading all these draft picks for Jamal Adams and other players who did not fix anything for them. And meanwhile, they're paying Russell Wilson all of this money. Not only is Pete Carroll's system not outdated because he has an elite offense with his system right now, once he got that elite running back, but they had the best draft in football by a country mile. Not only that, they probably hit on as many picks in the 2022 NFL draft as they did in the last 8, 9, 10 years. You think about it. In all of those years, the only picks they truly hit on were Frank Clark, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, the punter, and what's his face? I'm blanking on his name. Dixon, Jordan Brooks, and Shaquille Griffin. Those are the only picks they really hit on, 6 of them. In this last year's draft, you get yourself your tackle combo for the future, your quarterback duo for the future, and an elite running back. Kenneth Walker may already be a top 10, probably top 5, honestly, the way he's playing right now, and a promising edge rusher in Boye Mafe out of Minnesota. So they nailed the draft, and a goal along with that in free agency, they go in. And, of course, Geno Smith's playing out of his mind right now, being paid like a backup. But they get themselves more players on that defense. Players that have Usena Nwasu, who has broke out this year at edge rusher. And this defense, over the last week, has gone from one of the worst in football to one of the best. And so let me say it, man. If Pete Carroll can continue to win games like this with a defense that is rolling, and John Snyder, keep in mind, in next year's draft class, they already paid their dues to the New York Jets with the Jamal Adams trade. They have 2 firsts from the Denver Broncos in their own and 2 seconds. If they draft another class anywhere near the level of this, they're a Super Bowl contender for the next 5 years. Because when you look back a decade ago, in 2010, when they drafted, Cam Chancellor in the 5th round, Russell Okung and Earl Thomas in the 1st round, and Golden Tate in the 2nd, they then go out the following year and get Richard Sherman in the 5th, Byron Maxwell in the 6th, and KJ Wright along with those 2 guys. And then 2012, they get Irvin, they get Bobby Wagner in the 1st, or in the 2nd, and they get Russell Wilson in the 3rd. Bruce Irvin now is a 35-year-old veteran on this team. He resigned with the team this offseason, and all of a sudden, the Seattle Seahawks are back. They're a top 3 team in the NFC, and with how hot they've been playing recently, let me just say it again. They can win multiple playoff games, and who the heck would have thought this was possible 2 months ago? Not me. This episode is brought to you by our friends at BestStamp. When it comes to sports betting, BestStamp is changing the game. You want to maximize your return, and with the BestStamp app, all you have to do is download it and sign up on their different affiliate sportsbooks, and you can see all the best odds given straight to you in one single place. The visual tools are very helpful, and by the end of the year, you can use it for accounting. You can get all the analytics that you'll need so that you can bet like a pro. Be sure to use our referral code at WiseGuys, WISEGUYS. Thank you to BetStamp for supporting us, and as always, back to the show.
Brandon, I hate that he's setting me up for this to burst his bubble because I want to be nice to Seattle. I just spoke highly on Geno Smith, but this is all nice until they run into the 49ers. Record-wise, yes, they're the best team in the NFC West. But in reality, in the real world, when they go toe to toe with San Francisco, they will lose. And if they get to play them in the playoffs, if they're lucky enough to go head to head with the 49ers, they will lose again. So, yes, a spectacular season this is for Seattle, proving so many people wrong. They're not the best team in this division. This is a beautiful start. It's a beautiful story. I love Cinderella stories, but at the end, we do have to come back to reality, and I do believe that they will go back to reality, and San Francisco is going to take their rightful spot on the throne of the NFC West.
So, I mean, I agree with your
No.
early sentiments. I mean, we just sat here and praised Geno Smith and gave him his flowers, but it's just winning multiple playoff games. I don't see that. Their schedule down the stretch is a pretty tough one. I mean, next week they've got, or this upcoming week, I should say, they're heading to Germany to take on Tampa Bay. They've got to play the Rams twice, and I know the Rams haven't played well, but the Rams swept them last year. So that, and they're still vying for their spot. They're only 3-5. They've still got to play the 49ers. They got to play the Chiefs, and they got to play the Jets. Those are tough games to end the season. In terms of future, I don't want to. I want to give Geno his love now. I just don't know if it's a sustainable thing. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue this. Is this just a one-time thing, or can he actually sustain this and keep this up? Like, is this the real Geno Smith, or is the real Geno Smith somewhere in the middle of what we've seen before and what he is now? That could be the case. So I'm not going to blow smoke up their ass like you. I do think they're going to make I do think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I do believe that, but they've got a tough road ahead, and yeah, it's. Yeah, they're not winning multiple playoff games. That is not happening.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, they have a 2-game lead in the NFC West, and Ray, Geno Smith is better than Jimmy, and what we're seeing right now from Geno Smith is legit. This is who he is. He's a much better quarterback. And what are we comparing him to? Because he's been a backup for 6 years now. So the quarterback in New York, that is long gone. That's so far away in the distance. I'm not even taking that into account because we saw last year Geno played very well as well. And you look at this offense, fellas, an elite running game, a running back in Kenneth Walker who's probably going to finish with 1,200 yards. He's been that good, and he's been that much of a game changer. And then you look at the talent. B-Cap, I know you like Noah Fant. Last night, against the Cardinals, big-time 51-yard play. You add that with DK Metcalf, who has built a strong connection with Geno Smith. Tyler Lockett, who's still one of the better number 2s in the NFL. And defensively, if this group, like I said before, if they can continue to play at the pace they're playing at right now, this is a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, maybe top 5 defensively. So you guys can say, oh, you're blowing smoke up there. You know what, John? We don't know if Geno Smith's going to keep this up. The fact of the matter is, Brandon, the Rams are a below-average football team. They're just not a good team. Matt Stafford this year has not been good, and Geno Smith has cleared him. They can't run the football, and their offensive line is a train wreck. The Buccaneers have no explosiveness whatsoever, and for as solid as Tom Brady has been, they're also a below-average, poorly coached football team. And I have to give Pete Carroll his respect because what he has done right now shows me he is still an elite coach that gets the most out of his talent. He's run off Russ, and now he's winning Geno Smith. At the end of the day, they're better coached than those two teams. They have more talent, they're more dynamic, they're more balanced, and defensively, they're better. There's nothing those two teams have over the Seahawks this year because Geno Smith has been better than Tom Brady and better than Matthew Stafford. And next week, they're going to beat the Buccaneers, extending this to a 5-game winning streak in Germany.
They're not beating the Buccaneers. You want to put a bet on it?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Down. So here's the thing, right?
What's
if you took just a bet? I mean, we haven't really put a thing down on any of our bets this season, so that can be discussed off air if we want to. But let me get into this.
We're on.
If I were to take Geno Smith right now, right, and stick him in Tampa Bay, and I were to take Tom Brady and put him in Seattle, do you believe Tampa Bay would be 4-5? No, they would have a worse record, right? Okay. And if you put Tom Brady in Seattle, they are either 6-3 or they have a better record. Okay, that's first off. So him playing better than Tom Brady, I don't believe that, because without Tom Brady, this Tampa Bay team is dead in the water. The only reason anybody gives them a shot is who? Tom Brady. Okay? Do you know that Tom Brady leads the NFL in touchdown and interception ratio? Realize he's not turning the football over. So if he were to be turning the football over, they would have a much worse record because they would be losing much more games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are right there, and the win yesterday was such a big momentum builder, because it's not just the fact that they did win, it's how they won. It's the fact that Tom Brady, for the 55th time in his career, let me repeat that again, the 55th time in his career, driving down the field and getting a game-winning drive, now leads the NFL in NFL history with most game-winning drives, breaking Peyton Manning, the tie they had at 54.
You play for a million years, you'll eventually get it.
That's not the case at all. That is not the case. So anybody can be clutch.
Geno Smith this year will just take
Anybody can be clutch. Anybody can be clutch.